Hey yo, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ.
And me, Double V, the Viceroy, very similitude. And we are joined by the new M.O.W. Intergalactic Universal Thingamajigger Champion.
Yes, the one and only, the new champion, Big Tone in the zone. Happy to be here, guys.
Our second champion.
Whoa. Let's not. It's bad
It's
enough
so
for me
easy.
to have,
It's so easy.
it's hard enough for me to have to say congratulations at this point because I am hurt. No, you know what? Dare I say though, well deserved. Well deserved. If there's
Called it since November.
Come again?
Called it since November.
You called it since November, but let's be honest, with a lot of different variables along the way, you've been consistent. Like never really dropped off of certain positions. You've had it there the whole time. So.
That's why I called it since November. I knew. I'm like, he's on a roll. He's calling it. He's tapped into the product. There's
products.
Products indeed. Well, the product of wrestling.
Yeah.
There's no amount of fake hype or like stress or like smoke and mirrors, shadows. Like, oh, maybe shut up. No one's catching him. I knew that since November.
I take offense in that, but yeah, all right.
I still wasn't catching.
I still
had captain.
But yes, I've done my hey yos. If you haven't figured it out already, it's post WrestleMania, so you know what that means. We're here. We're going to be talking a bit of night one, a bit of night two. It's a summary, guys, because, well, let's be honest, you've heard everyone's thoughts, but you've not heard the M.O.W. So we're here, baby. We're here. Right. So let's just kick it off with, before we go into like a match by match breakdown, something you alluded to, Nick, just before we press the record button. The words came out. We've previously discussed that following WrestleMania 39, we will see what a Triple H era looks like. That's what we always said. However, post WrestleMania 39, Redacted came back. So it delayed the progress. Yesterday, Sunday afternoon or evening to some people, I was very, very happy. There's not a lot that could really get me excited for the start of a show more than seeing Stephanie McMahon walk down the ramp again. This was the first Mania that was non-McMahon, but to see Steph come back was quite exciting.
Yeah, I was happy. It was cool.
And the words, a new era of wrestling and WWE is here. This is the Paul Levesque, the first Paul Levesque. I still hate hearing that. I love saying Triple H. The first Paul Levesque WrestleMania is taking place. And it's interesting that it was said at night 2 as opposed to night 1, but throughout you can see that there is definitely a change, a shift in the WWE. A lot of it, dare I say, and I'm really interested to see it come out tomorrow. The pivot helped. I think the pivot helped in changing the entire direction of this company.
Speaking of the pivot, the thing I actually love is that they're actually acknowledging that it was a pivot now.
Yeah.
Like that makes me so refreshingly happy to know that the dum-dum stands have been put in their place by their own product.
Do you know what
stupid debate that has been going on now since The Rock came back? They've squashed it. There's a whole documentary now on the network about the making of Mania 40, where both The Rock and Triple H acknowledge that, hey, the fans attacking us, that was organic, and we responded and pivoted accordingly. So it's, this was a work alone. Shut up. Your own product is telling you you're wrong.
You've got to look at the documentary being, as it says, behind the curtain call part 2 for Triple H. But the other side of it is the WWE narrative. They would have to make it seem like, yeah, well, this was the plan the whole way through. That's the storyline. That was the plan. Whereas initially...
So refreshing, because the one thing under the McMahon era that they've been guilty of for so many years is revisionist history. And it's tiny little things like saying, Bayley was the first Grand Slam Women's Champion. Lies. Absolute lies. Asuka was. And they'd never acknowledged the fact that Asuka basically platinum WWE before any other woman, right? it's little things like that. Oh, yeah, this happened for that. I'm not going to give specifics because it's boring, but this happened and it was all planned. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The fact that the new establishment have come in and said, yeah, we might have read the room wrong on that one and we pivoted and now all is good. There's a lot to be said that all is good because The Rock is so good at what he does. So good at what he does. Like, he was like, cool, I guess I'm the heel. Let's run with it. Oh, boy, did he.
Yeah, man. Like, look, again, it's a new era. We've been seeing it in the water for quite some time now. The fact that people are getting to come out there, they're getting to cut more unscripted promos. They're able to say things and do things that add a little bit of edge to their character. Yeah, no Adam Copeland. Yeah, but it's good to see because, again, like, with this new era, we want it to actually feel like a new era. They just had a grand reset at WrestleMania. Many of the belts changed hands. Many like new factions and storylines have been like set up. Yeah, going forward for this year.
Yeah,
and again, some of the feuds we've got to look forward to. I'm excited, and again, we have to give the man his flowers. This is down. It's got to be down, if not like almost fully, quite a bit to Triple H, man, because again, he's done his things.
It's down to a lot. I actually think one of the unsung heroes of this whole WrestleMania, I wish I remembered his name. The guy who replaced Kevin, no, effing it, Khan. The guy who replaced Kevin Dunn in production. Because the whole
new guy, Triple H called his name in the press conference.
Yep, it's that guy. And I completely co-sign what Triple H said because I've been noticing this for the last few months now. And it's not the sort of thing, and they've done it in a way that it's not been like an overnight change. It's been a gradual treacle change that they've done. But the production, it doesn't feel petri dish sanitized the way it did under McMahon. That overly produced thing with the cameras doing that when the wrestlers are moving, that overproduction they did with everything. It actually now feels, I hate to say the words, a bit Attitude Era-y. It's got an edge to it. It's got a grit to it. It feels fresh. And for the guy who's on the channel noting how much I hate the WWE product because they treat their fans like idiots, they revise their history, they overproduce everything, their storylines don't play out, and they make us promises they don't keep. Those 5 criticisms have... I'm going to exercise a wrestling terms right to say let the story play out. And in this case, I want to see what does Triple H have in his gun after Mania 40. But I'm intrigued to find out, because those 5 wrongs seem to have been very clearly righted in the last sort of 12 months.
Look, exactly. And like you can see it just by like the blending of storylines, yeah. Even the World Championship match. That there's about 4 storylines played out there that have been mishmashed together. And they all come to a culmination at WrestleMania. Yeah. And then from that, you've got a whole new avenue of new feuds from that. And that's how very much it was in the Attitude Era. And that's what was good about Attitude Era. It wasn't always about all the violence, the degeneracy and like the sex and everything.
Sure.
It was more about how storylines weave together, how things flowed organically and naturally. And the next storyline seemed to be having you on the edge of your chair for what was going to happen next week. And like ever since Triple H has like took over, it seems to be that is what's been on the cards. There's not so many matches happening on a Raw and SmackDown that just happen for no reason and with no stakes anymore.
I agree with that. For most part, I agree with that.
Look, it's one of those things. It's just refreshing. I mean, look, one of the key things about Attitude Era, apart from gripping storylines, is there's a card. There's a level of interest in more than just these 2, and it has to be these 2. If it's not that one, when a belt's going to change hands in the past few years. A few people, I don't know why it came up today, noted how bad 2019 was as a year for WWE.
I was literally about to say that. I'm like, we are a long way. Toto, we are not in Kansas anymore. If Kansas is 2019, man, we are in Oz at the moment.
Yeah, like it's far removed, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. I'm not too sure. Let's move on and go for it. So look, let's talk night one. Sadly, the images got deleted, and I'm not going to bring them back up. You'll probably see them, guys, by the time edits come up. But yes, the you know what? I'll give credit to this because something you've previously mentioned, Nick, and it came now. The challenge. I think a lot of people, not many within the ministry, mind you, thought that this was Becky's time. I am so happy it wasn't. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, solid match, and to see Rhea come out on top was a thing of beauty. I thought that was so refreshing.
They read the room well. They read the room very well on this. They realized that Becky's bulletproof. Becky doesn't necessarily. Why's my camera bugging out? Becky doesn't necessarily need the win. Becky can challenge for the title anytime, and just the way that you can insert Randy Orton into a world title picture at any time, you can do exactly the same with Becky because she's Becky, just like you can with Charlotte because she's Charlotte. Rhea, they need to do right by now because I don't think that that match was anything more than a 3.5 star, but it was definitely better than what Rhea's been putting, what Rhea's had delivered to her for the last 12 months since the Charlotte Flair match. It's just been a great character run, as I've said, and a very, very mediocre at best in terms of in-ring what Rhea's done. Not through any fault of Rhea. She's fantastic in the ring. She's just been fed table scraps. This is the first of many steps I'm hoping in the right direction. I certainly hope I don't have to wait another 12 months to see Rhea Ripley tear it up again.
No, 100%. Like, again, Rhea really, she did need the win here more so than Becky. As you say, she's Teflon, she's bulletproof. She doesn't really need the win here, and she can get that win further down the line, and I'm pretty sure she will, actually. I reckon before the end of this year, someone will take that belt off of Rhea, and it's more than likely going to be Becky in a WrestleMania rematch. Whether that happens at SummerSlam, whether that happens in one of the other bigger ones, fair enough, yeah. But still, like you said, the one thing missing from Rhea is like the whole bullet points of great people she's faced and overcome.
Yeah, hopefully signature matches.
Get this year. And to be honest, like, you got 2 members of the Judgment Day holding more championships. Are we going to go that extra level and add the tag belts, add the IC belt, and give all the Judgment Day gold? You can do it if you want to. You don't have to, but
I want to see the tag gold back on. I don't know if they deserve the IC, if I'm honest.
No, if anyone deserves the IC, I will put on Bella. Not for long, but just to do, like, make sure everyone. Oh, you know what? Dominic is IC champion.
Dominic taking the belt off Sammy is the sort of infuriating stuff that would work.
Yeah.
Look, my thing about Rhea is they're developing the women's division. I don't know if it's there just yet. And I think what I would do is, as much as you don't want to see it for a year, Nick, I think have her go back to being manager for a bit. Try to influence her, like keep her off the card a bit while you're building the others. Let her be, going back to what you're saying, Big Tone, get the others to chase it. Let's get the Judgment Day having all the gold. Have her be in that piece. More of a China for a bit. So even though she's holding the belt, when she does take on someone, it means something where we're like, is there a chance? Because right now, Candice LeRae's on the rise, but if she took on Candice at the next pay-per-view, you know she's going to squash Candice within a second. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the only.
Well, they need to build the women. They need to build the women before they feed them to Ripley.
Yeah, I would hold her back a bit so they look more valid as anyone but just Becky.
I maybe, but the thing is, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Raw. Yeah,
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, you see what? So you see they've lined up in it, Liv as the next champion. Now we all know coming out of WrestleMania, it's seldom likely that things are going to change. So it's really they're just like,
I don't know. Backlash 2019 just called and said you're wrong.
Yeah, but like they what's it trying to actually like just put in a bit of filler to get a few wins under the champions belts before things change. And I feel someone like Liv is actually a good candidate because she does have a storyline, and like again, no talking, no asking. She just straight up went up to Rhea and started beating her up. Yeah, that's the type of thing I want to see. We know Liv's not gonna win at this point.
We know exactly how it's going to end with her being in a submission.
Yeah,
and not
that's fine.
That's fine.
But again, like I said, we do know how some filler's gonna go. but you actually just still need to have, you can't have dead space, dead air. You got to fill the air sometimes with something. And as long as it's entertaining, then at this point, we're winning. Later on, in a couple of months down the line, yes, we're going to need to see more valid contenders.
They just need, for every match, there should be a rule across the board, irrespective of promotion. What makes wrestling matches of that caliber, when you've got a champion who's dominant, you need to give me that 1%. Think about how good the Sami Zayn Roman match was at Elimination Chamber in Montreal last year. We all picked Roman. There was that 1% where they were like, if they were gonna, it would be awesome. Yeah, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but that's different though, because again, that's after a year's build of a storyline.
But this is why I'm saying,
this is why I say 1%.
Because right now, he's right. It's at 100%. 100%. Rhea's going to win. Just give me something that goes, oh, maybe. To be fair, Nia Jax, Elimination Chamber. You're like, ooh, people.
Yeah, but that was because of WWE banter. I'm like, they're going to make the Aussie lose in Australia, aren't they?
But she was also kind of built, and you're like, oh, they shouldn't, but would they? Even like, even when
rehabbing Nia Jax, I have to say.
I was like, would they? Ooh, would they? But because they built it, and that's what you need to do. Not Roman Reigns vanish, but just let us step back a bit. Yeah. Let the women vie for the title. Number one contendership matches. Show that it's there. Okay, Liv just stepped up and got it, as Nick says, reasons. But give me something to be like, no, she's dominant. She actually might be in with a chance. But that's a different story.
Yeah, but again, like I said, Liv, they have actually set up that story from last year with Liv and her. Obviously, Rhea's going to take the win. But as long as the journey there is fun, then they've done something.
Cool. Right. 1%. Ladder match. This one kind of killed me from a points perspective because I didn't know both titles were on the line. I thought there's a chance that someone may grab one and with the other. I didn't realize it was literally a 2-bell situation. Peed me off, but that's a different story for a different time. I actually enjoyed this ladder match. It was weird to see that ladder, which was probably meant to be for the Raw tag titles, be like they had to throw it because it looked scary. I don't know why Miz even climbed it. That ladder was on its way out. That was on its way out. But I think each team actually, the fact that a few people said New Catch Republic and a few other picks out there, that there were hope for others. I think each team have done enough that when the tag titles are going to be split, the teams are actually solid teams, and not just thrown together teams. Granted, Awesome Truth.
That's the positive. That's the positive.
There is a bit of a sympathy vote with that. Like, well done, Truth. You've entertained us. Take the tag titles. It is a bit transitional.
So this is the
SmackDown on the other hand excites me. SmackDown excites me with A-Town.
SmackDown excites me. Y'all are going to hate me for this. And I want to preface this by saying I am an R-Truth guy. Always have been since the K-Quick days, since Ron Killings. I have always loved R-Truth. There's never been an iteration of this man that I have not loved. I think he's awesome. I think he is a national treasure. Miz, I've always been lukewarm about, but hey, they see something in him that I don't, and I know you do as well, AJ. In the year 2024, when you're trying to rehab DIY and the New Catch Republic have out of nowhere solidified themselves as being certified legitimate and the closest thing we will probably ever get in WWE to strong style. Sorry for saying this. It is a freaking war crime to put tag belts on the freaking Awesome Truth. I love it. It's banter. It's fun. I love what they did on Raw. It's all sorts of awesome. It makes you smile. But from a booking perspective, that was the one part of night one where I was like, bro, I get it, but do better.
Can I be real?
But
it's cool years of service. That's what that's
I see what you're saying, and I do actually agree from a wrestler's standpoint. Yeah. But if we're talking from a booking standpoint of who's over, by far the Awesome Truth, by far with
Truth
the most
will
over.
Always get over, won't he? He's so good at what he does.
And to be honest, again, I look at this just like the whole Zack Ryder Intercontinental title win. That basically, thank you, Miz, for 20 years of continued service. Thank you, R-Truth, for also 20 years of continued service and making everyone laugh and still being funny. Because you've seen that bit on Raw where he come and held his title up with the Judgment Day. That's hilarious. The whole crowd's gassed. It's funny.
It's
Now,
so
will
dumb. It's
Austin Cruz
so
hold it
dumb,
for
but I
long?
have to laugh.
Will
But
they
you know
hold
what
it
it
for
is?
long? I seriously don't think they will hold it for long. But luckily, now we've got a number of legit teams that can vie and take those titles, man. So
And
yeah,
it's
let's have a bit of back
split.
and forth.
You can build tag divisions, and dare I say it, quote the Hall of Fame, Paul Heyman is using his pen on SmackDown. There is going to be a lot of exciting stuff happening. I don't know who's doing Raw, but Raw's got excitement at the top. They need to build the other sides, but there's a lot going on for WWE at the moment. And I agree. Look, it's literally years of service. And I like the way that Truth semi-broke the fourth wall when he held his title. He's like, but I brought the classic line. I brought the title back to the Judgment Day. I was like, well done. You took it off them to take it back. But he's like, we brought it full circle. Like he's showing what everyone on the internet is saying, like, you know, using the terms that's there. I was like, this is gold. And I've got to be honest. I fell out of love with Truth. I always thought some of his stuff was too stupid. Judgment Day
dumb.
Truth.
It's so
24/7 title Truth. I did not like. Judgment Day Truth. I love like that whole thing since he has come back has been
the
gold.
Priest t-shirt stuff was very funny.
All of it. Getting tagged in on a rumble, entering the women's rumble, all of it. Just
I hate
myself for laughing at it.
There is one thing that truly is a down for me with that ladder match, and that is, man, it's a new era. We got new belts for all the belts except for the tag titles, man. Change those Fisher Price looking dumb crap, man. This 10p penny giant quarter. Like, come on, man. Just change them. It's been years.
Give it time.
If they change them, though, they're just going to put the WWE logo on it again.
Now that they're separate, it's very likely that it's going to come. Very likely it's going to come.
Oh, I mean, they were separate before that. They looked exactly identical, just
but now everything's been branded. Now that everything's been branded, now's the time. And it will probably be like the Worlds and the WWE. I guarantee you that's what they'll do.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going to be
fine. Just change the look.
No, it's not fine.
Cool.
Good ladder match. WWE always put on good ladder matches. They really do.
I wasn't overly excited by this next match, if I'm honest. LDF versus LWO.
Oh, this was dead. I'm sorry.
It was the wrong match they did. Because basically,
this was a SmackDown match.
Why wouldn't you do a 10-man with the whole factions fighting? Yeah,
Survivor Series. That's the only thing I can think of. Survivor Series is the reason you hold back.
Is that going to go on till that long?
God, please no.
But dare I say, they also done Dom dirty.
Like, oh yeah. The ending was the worst ending of WrestleMania. Yeah, this like again, I hate when they do these things that are like, you know, just local at WrestleMania, man. Like again, the world's watching. They don't know who the hell these two guys are. They don't care. They just see,
yeah, but hang on, that just speaks volumes to the culture of Americana. They're very insular as a nation, and they really think that their football is actual football. That's a cultural thing. You're never going to overcome that.
Fair enough, but this hell, just keep it away from my match, man.
I agree with. I'm like, that was ridiculous. They could have done that on SmackDown before Mania, which was in Philadelphia, and got probably a better reaction, if anything, because it would have been more unexpected on a smaller stage, and put the Andre the Giant Battle Royal back on WrestleMania where it belongs. This was so mistimed.
Yeah. When you look at night 1 and night 2 and match 1, those both nights, match 2, yeah, I'm sorry, but night 2's match 2.
Match 3. This is match 3.
Just takes in it, yeah.
This is 3 though.
Huh? Oh, that was. Well, basically,
the thing is, both night 1 and night 2 matches 2 and 3 were.
What I'm trying to say is Final Testaments match, yeah, and
well, that was dead too. Dead.
But out of the two of them, that one was much more better than Rey Mysterio and Dominic's match, and that's a sad thing to say.
Well, I learned from that match, which we'll talk about in a moment, that all it takes to take out the AOP is a flying nothing over the turnbuckle.
Yeah. Anyway, we move on. This one, dare I say, where LDF versus LWO was just quickly thrown together and boring. This one had all the makings of greatness, and it just underdelivered. I am so sad for both of these guys. It was the brotherhood dream that did not come true.
I have called this. I have been calling this since the Rumble.
Jimmy versus Jay. Listen, it's something they both wanted from kids. And again, a lot of service has been given in. Triple H is given to the fans and he's given to the staff. And this is what he done. He gave them a match that they've dreamed of since kids. If it wasn't now, when would it be? Because eventually the Usos have got to get back together. So this was the time. Jimmy's out of the bloodline. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
I can't remember, was it you or Leon who shot me down at the Rumble when we were at Box Park? It was AJ. It was either you or Leon.
It has to be Leon. I don't recall.
That point where the Usos had their face off in the Rumble, and I did an echo and got quite angry, and I was like, this sucks. I'm just calling it for what it is. These guys have got bad chemistry together. I called it at the Rumble in January, and this Mania Night one proved it. Their in-ring chemistry when they're together, fantastic. Against each other, sorry, no. I'm not saying this match sucks. I'm saying what they did at the Rumble sucked. But their in-ring chemistry, they're not vibing off each other, man.
I feel like give them a chance. Look. Basically,
we did twice.
Like they was nervous. Yeah, you could say they looked like they was. Yeah, and I do think sometimes the matches that you have at WrestleMania, you expect them to be better. But then you look, then it's about 1 or 2 pay-per-views down the line where they really deliver. What I think is going to happen is that, like, no doubt, Jimmy is going to cost Jay the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. And that will lead into another match between those guys. But this time, I reckon it will be better the next time they lock up.
What's my favorite expression on this channel?
Yeah, probably. But as long
if
as
it's bad and then it's better, that doesn't make it good. It's grading on a curve.
As long as we're entertained, that's good enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm yet to be by these two, so it'd be really good if we got there.
I will be honest, and I said, like, as the more positive one of this channel, I was disappointed by this. I just thought it would be a bit more crazy because this had a great build, and they've been wanting it for years.
Yes, it really did.
But I do think because of that moment, as a moment they wanted, maybe nerves did kick in, and that's why we didn't get the match.
Do you know what this match needed? This match needed a gimmick. And sadly, it couldn't be ladder because we had the 6-ladder person.
Why was Rikishi not special guest referee?
Rikishi is special guest ref. Even a little solo interference to make it a bit more challenging for Jay. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what it needed, but it needed something.
The thing I called Tama Tonga coming in to save Jimmy.
Anything. That would have been something as well. But what was missing is just that the Usos are high flyers, but Jimmy's not flying so much recently. So you didn't really get the elements of... It's like the Hardy Boys. When the Hardys took on each other, it's not Brett. You see, you can do Brett versus Owen, which can be all kinds of technical and great. Matt versus Jeff had to be an I Quit match, and all the ladders and everything else came out. This needed to be a street fight, but obviously they gave it to Night 2 for God knows what reason. They were missing something that allowed them to go back crap crazy. And that's what was missing in this match because it just felt limited. And then Jimmy hits a Uso splash. It doesn't work out. Oh, guess what? Jay's now. And it was like, oh, we're here. Okay.
It should have been I Quit. It actually should have been I Quit because I'll tell you what would have been interesting about making it I Quit. Bring it all the way back to Jay's initial feud with Roman before the bloodline really, really started. Just during its inception. What Jay wouldn't say I quit to Roman. What made him say I quit when Jimmy. Roman messed with Jimmy? If they'd made it I quit and played on that initial feud, that actually would have added a level of intrigue to it.
Yeah. And what I think is, again, you're both right, and I think we will see that down the line. Because remember, like even the match that Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy had, at Mania, that wasn't the best one. Yeah, like that came later. So I just think that's gonna happen here. Like, we're grading on the curve here, but again, better is still better, innit? So, I think give them a couple of months, to actually maybe do it on a show that is less nerve-wracking to them. And, they will give you what you want. Maybe an I Quit match, maybe bloodline rules, they try and kill each other. Maybe Rikishi is in there. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm not rushing to see them take on each other again. Like, I feel like it's kind of done now, but maybe. Look, if they can put it in,
the discussion around this match is done. What's the next match, AJ?
The 6 lady match, as Big Toad like to call them, Black Girl Magic versus Damage Control.
Voodoo.
Look, the thing about this, it was so clear cut who was going to win. It was hard to be invested, but I'm happy all the same. I think in an alternate world, Sasha would have signed, Charlotte wouldn't have been damaged, and it would have been 3 horsewomen versus Damage Control, and then they would have had Bayley at the end with Dakota, with Io. But I'm happy that all 6 ladies had a showing at WrestleMania because they all. Jade still has work.
Doesn't she just?
Jade still has work.
I said this to you. I think Papa H is having a bit of buyer regret with Jade. She's clearly a massive star. She's got the presence. But in terms of how soon they announced that she's here, that's the regret. Not getting her. Obviously not. She's a megastar already before even actually being WWE style ring ready.
But you know what? They've done the best thing. Pair her up. But
that's what I said. That's what I said in the prediction. They've done the right thing by pairing her with essentially 2 veterans. I mean, I don't think it's unfair to call Bianca a veteran at this point.
Well, she's done it all.
She's done it all. They've paired her with 2 ladies on her team who can not hide, but mask some of her shortcomings. And they've put her against 3 girls who know how to take bumps. The negatives I have to say, and I don't want to sound like I'm being negative. I love this pay-per-view, just in case people are, he's being really negative. No, I think when you're reviewing something like this, when we get really hyped about the good, we can get really hyped about the good. But this is not a perfect pay-per-view. Let's not pretend it is. There were mistakes made here. Having the women's tag team champions just further reinforces to me that, number one, they shouldn't have a women's tag team division because same problem as the men had during the Usos' reign. There ain't a freaking tag division to defend the tag belts against. Treating the tag champions like that at Mania, reasons aside, Asuka's injured, blah, 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 blah. Shouldn't have been in the match then. And stop the bastardization of Dakota Kai, please. I love that girl, but that's a personal thing.
You see, I think this match was fine. I feel like
yes, it was.
It's where it should be for all 6 women. I am actually, yes, I do think you need to put more respect on the women's tag team titles and actually have the teams, because you do actually have some teams in the pipeline, yeah, but you need to utilize them. You need to actually start making them vie and specifically going after those tag titles, not just passing it around, yeah, to like whichever superstar of the day you want to do it for now. Yeah, I mean, that's likely how the Kabuki Warriors reign is going to end. Yeah, to somebody like, I don't know if it's going to be
Hartwell.
Nah, it's not going to be that. It's going to be a combination of one of the 3 members of Black Girl Magic in it, yeah. As for Jade, yes, I feel Jade is somehow regressed because I remember her having actually quite decent matches on her undefeated streak. Yeah,
when Jade was allowed, when she was allowed to do more than her 2-minute squashes, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, what I think probably is happened here with Jade is she hasn't wrestled on TV for a long time, and there might be a bit of fright, nerves, and ring rust. So now Papa H is probably doing the right thing, and why she was on Raw last night is again so she can, get back into the groove of doing things weekly. Because now, people who have seen her for the first time, they're not really getting their money's worth. It's like, why are we so excited? So
another thing to factor, and I've not checked it, and it doesn't seem as bad as when I used to watch WCW. WWE rings are that bit bigger than your standard wrestling ring, so that is also something for her to probably be getting into the groove of, of like being WWE ready. But look, great things ahead, but it's very much on a tag front for Jade as we speak.
But the great thing about that, though, at the very least, Naomi's on the show. The Kabuki Warriors on the show. Dakota Kai is on the show. Like I said, it doesn't matter whether the match was good or bad. If you are on WrestleMania 40,
you got your paycheck. You're part of history. You're all good.
Yes, exactly. You're part of history.
Right, the unexpected match for everyone. I don't care who you are. I mean, I nearly said it, but I still didn't believe it was going to happen just based on the build. Sami Zayn Gunter, the IC title.
I've got issues with this match. I really do.
God, tell us what your issues.
You kind of insinuated it already, AJ, the booking of this. I think this was not the right way for Gunter to lose. Now, in an ideal world for me, he'd lose the way Bobby Lashley lost his IC run before he became world champ, lose upwards in a triple threat where you're not the one being pinned, so you still look dominant. That's ideal world. That's not to say Gunther can't lose in a one-on-one and still look dominant and win upwards. He can. And it's not about the fact that it's Sami Zayn. I said don't bet against Sami Zayn on a pay-per-view. The build for this was too short. Way too short.
100%.
Yeah, for the guy who's going to dethrone Gunther, I mean, look what they've done with Cody and Roman. Literally an 18-month program. And let's not mess about. Yes, Gunther is just that step below Roman. He is the longest reigning IC champ ever. He may not have all the pomp and fanfare and faction level that Roman has. He may not have the family history, but don't mess. That's the longest reigning IC champ ever.
By far.
And the guy is future world champ material, maybe very soon, actually. And I thought not only the person he lost to, not because it's Sami, but because the booking was so rushed. I mean, I felt like this was slapped together in 3 weeks. And I was like, really? Get Sami on the Mania card by all means, but under no circumstance should he be winning after such a short build. And for the match to play out the way, Gunther doing his choppity chops, which was great. But he felt like he was beaten a little easily for me. Considering this guy, when I watched the matches he had with Chad Gable on Raw, and I keep going back to that because, again, my ideal booking would have been Chad beats him. That would have been a great story. And Chad bloody deserves it. That aside, Chad, man, they were doing Okada level 2.999 kickouts on that Raw match. This didn't have any of that. There was no point where where they reinforced the message of how big a deal this Sami victory is. It's like, Jesus, he's just beaten Gunther. This is stratospheric big. At no point did I feel the gravitas of that because of the way the match played out. Match was great, though. Just bad booking that revolved around it. In-ring, great.
I mean, Sami's story did start a while back when he kept losing. It's just, again, the way they played it out and the interaction with Gunther was too short.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's it seemed rushed, even though the story had been going on for a good three months. Yeah, with Sami on a losing streak, Sami coming back, getting his shot at the Elimination Chamber, and then Sami, leading up to Mania. But again, it still didn't feel like it's enough to justify, Gunther losing the title to Sami. Now, I'm very happy for Sami because, again, he really does deserve that big moment and that big, oh my gosh.
Well, he had it last year.
He had it last year, but again, they still have faith in him and they give it to him again.
They should. He's great.
Complain about that, but I do still think it would have been better served if someone like Badass Bum Breaker or Kamala Hayes were the one to beat Gunther. Yeah, it's elevating the move. Yeah, or Chad. Chad does deserve it. However, I feel Chad will be Intercontinental Champion
soon. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, but again, whether that's through nefarious means or he just beats him, we'll see. Yeah, but again,
Chad's going heel. Chad's going full heel, brother.
The one thing I am glad about is that, yes, the title is off Gunther now. We do not need another long, drawn-out reign.
No, we do not.
Get a few people holding that belt this year. A good 5 people at least.
I agree.
I think the problem we have, Tone, is that you visualize something which the package didn't show. Right? We saw a package of Chad Gable training Sami to get back in the zone. I think the fact that Sami, it's weird because Sami nearly, as you said, Nick, the 1% of Roman. Sami also took out the undefeatable Usos. So
yeah.
it's not like we associate Sammy with major loser. So you really had to emphasize that.
Don't bet against Sammy on a pay-per-view. What do I say?
We've also got to look at the fact that Gunther took out 2 former champs last year in the shape of Sheamus and Drew. Now, I'm not saying I'm not knocking Sammy when I say this, but you're meant to believe that 2 minutes of training with Chad Gable now makes you the one to just be able to essentially Hulk up, because you got battered. Then out of nowhere, you just started having some epileptic fit, stood up, and you've now been able to hit a haluva kick. Don't get me wrong, that brainbuster onto the turnbuckle thing of
that's a thing of beauty.
Shout out to El Generico. If you know, you know.
But yeah, exactly. But when you really break it down, it's is this really to me? I would have seen a fresh face or somewhat a fresh champ, or give Sheamus that moment. Going back to what you said, Nick, maybe a 6-man scramble. I know the tag titles had it, and it needed that dynamics to be able to split the belts. But give us something crazy, for the long run that Gunther had. Maybe he should have overseen Sammy way more than he did. Highlight the fact that Sammy, since last year, you've not won a match. Yep. But for it to have just been okay, yeah, he missed his chamber spot. Now he's in.
It just felt very matter of fact, didn't it? It's
yeah. Even if he won a rumble or won his thing by chance, back in I know it's not something you can picture now, but someone else's finisher landed on Sammy. Sammy happened to have fallen into the pin. It didn't seem like he had a chance in hell of winning, but he found it because he is the underdog from the underground or whatever they used to call him back in the day.
But that's not the story they told.
It's not. That's what I'm saying. It just felt very, to me, no disrespect to Sammy, but Gunther deserved more. Doesn't matter who it was.
Of course he did. It could have been Sammy. The booking revolving around getting Sammy to that stage was not good.
Yeah.
Not bad, just should have been more.
It was very rushed. Then again, it feels like the word is anticlimactic to Gunther's to end Gunther's reign. But one thing I'll give it to them is you did it at a place where it really should happen, and that's WrestleMania 40. There is no more of a bigger spot and a bigger venue for Gunther to lose that title and to see it enter the most historic intercontinental title.
Well, according to WWE in Cologne, Germany.
But like I'm saying, WrestleMania 40 was the place to do it.
It didn't have to be at Mania, but I like the fact it was unexpected. That I'll give them. I don't know if it had to be at a Mania though.
It didn't have to be, but it's a good place to do it.
Okay, talking of WrestleMania 40, part 1 of the pivot. The Bloodline, the final boss, The Rock, and the head of the table, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, versus the American freaking nightmare that is Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Do you know what? I had fun with this match. I think the way they played into the fact of Rock being corporate Rock again, and it's everything he was able to do as corporate Rock back in the days under Redacted, he's done that and elevated it. I can call the shots. What are you going to do? Stop counting or you're fired. It was essentially Bloodline rules without going into Bloodline rules. I think both teams were able to hit some good spots. Obviously, you could see it was a battering. There was no, you could just feel it. The chances of Seth and Cody coming out on top was slim to none. Because
there was no 1% here. This was a done deal.
But it was the resilience of those guys. If I have to say something, and I mean, look, I might as well call it now. I have a lot of props to put Seth's way for Mania. I think he.
He got slapped every chance he was in.
He did, but
he did not have a good 2 days. Wow.
The element of passing the torch and giving people that chance to be on that upper echelon, he done it. He fully gave it that, So
3-star Seth did very well.
I think he's worth more than 3 stars on this one.
But tell me a 4-star match he said.
I don't know. Match 1 of night 2. I'm not.
Oh, stop it! Come on.
Seth has had many good matches, but I think you're just
3-star out of 5 is a very good match.
Nah, you're hating, bro.
No, that's just
I like Seth.
No, that's hating. He's never had a more than a 3-star match. Whatever, man.
Just because someone has a good match, that don't make it a 5-star, guys.
It doesn't. No one said he has to have a 5-star, but you're saying 3-star Seth. Yeah.
Like, okay. So let me elaborate on what I mean by that. So it's not misconstrued. So it's not misconstrued and misunderstood. Let me elaborate on what I mean by that. Seth Rollins is a steady pair of hands. You know he's not going to give you a bad match. He's steady Eddie. In the last 8 years, I can't remember a match he's delivered to me, which actually that's not fair. His Hell in a Cell match with Cody was very good. Aside from that Hell in a Cell match, I can't really remember a match where Seth has set the world alight. But he'll never, ever let you down. That's why I call him 3-star Seth. It's not a condemnation. If anything, it's to say the guy is he's airtight. He doesn't do bad matches. It's not in his DNA. Just like AJ Styles, it's not in his DNA to have a bad match. Like, he's that good that he's actually incapable of having bad matches. I don't think that, not down to him, I think because of the structure of the way that they're doing parental guidance TV and the way that they have to hit certain story beats with the way they book, I don't think Seth is almost allowed to show the full extent of what he can do. That goes for every wrestler in the Fed. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the way they book their wrestling. Seth is a 3-star guarantee wrestler in WWE. He won't put on a bad match. I'm not dissing the guy when I say that.
That sounds very derogatory, doesn't it, AJ? 3-star.
Then you didn't listen to what I just said. I explained it really clearly.
I can't challenge you to go through every Seth Rollins match. That would just be a waste of your time with so much content out in the world right now.
Yeah.
But like, looking at, just off the top of my head, the triple threat with him and Cena and Brock was more than a 3-star, 100%. Him and Ziggler had some very good matches.
Seth Rollins is very good at hitting what I think every truly great wrestler needs to hit, the holy grail, the trifecta. He needs to be able to cut good promos. Seth can do this. He needs to be able to do good matches. Seth can do this. He needs to be able to get crowd reactions. Seth can do this. Seth has the Holy Trinity at his disposal. I want to see Seth in a match, not because of a moment, like cashing in on Roman in front of the Samoans. I don't mean a moment, which we'll talk about.
I didn't call that, though.
No, it's a great moment. Yeah, it's a great moment.
That was not in the great matches of Seth Rollins that I brought up.
Of course, but what I want from Seth, in the time I've come back to watching wrestling since 2015, probably his match that stands out to me the most is that Cody match, but that's because Cody ripped his boob off. And it was just how are you doing this, you nut job? And the fact that because 3-star Seth is such a safe pair of hands, he's the perfect guy for Cody to be against, because you know that they're going to be able to tell that story, make it come across effectively, and Seth is going to keep him safe because he is that good. But I want to see Seth in a match that, something like Shawn and Taker, something like Angle and Mysterio. I want to see Seth in a match which people in 20 years' time are going to be like, yo, that match. And that's what I'm waiting on him for. It's not to say he's a bad wrestler. I love the guy. I'm on record saying he's probably, mostly because of the fact that he hits all 3 points, one of, if not the best wrestler they've got in WWE. Drew's punching him at the moment with what Drew's doing, but like,
Seth is, again, there's some points that I will take in it. Like, he is definitely the stable hand. In fact, he's the stablest of their hands. That's why he's 100%. Been, like, utilized at the top and at that level for such a long time. But again, Seth is that guy, man. Remember how exciting the US Championship got when Seth was holding it, yeah? And you say, like, he doesn't actually have any big matches because Seth is so consistent. You don't actually look at his matches and think, oh, I remember that one specifically, because
you're telling me the reasons for why he's 3-star. You're doing right now is you're telling me the reasons. No,
I'm saying
why he's
that, like,
you're not saying why it's not.
That term is actually, like, I get where you're coming from it. I'm just saying that's not something a wrestler would ever want to hear. Themselves be called a 3-star. Yeah, oh, I'm mid. Yeah, thank you for that.
His matches are mid mostly.
No, but I say he's had some banger ones. But again, if you look up and down that roster, and look at some of the matches they had, you would actually have to go and think hard to think at some of the standout ones that stand with the greatest of all time. Yeah, like it's hard these days because again, you have so many people. Of
course, it's hard. Now you're hitting the point I'm making.
Hold on. You have so many people on both sides in it, and different companies, New Japan, AEW, yeah. Everyone is doing their thing. So it gets much more harder to make yourself a Brett and Austin. It's much more harder to make yourself, a Sean Taker. Because again, you're having great matches that maybe in a different era would have been seen as, one of the all-time greats, but they just get left in the shuffle because there's a lot of people about. However, if you want, your title to look good, if you want your title to have it stop raised from like the abyss of being a B belt, you put on Seth Rollins. That's what Triple H said.
Even he couldn't do that.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, isn't it? Yeah, I do think
come on.
But like, you know what?
But hang on, AJ, let me just reply to that. So you've hit the nail on the head here, Big Tone, of why I'm calling him 3-star Seth, because he's
if you don't get why that's disrespectful, you're not gonna get it, innit? Yeah. Like AJ, you get why it sounds disrespectful, don't you?
Oh, I know why it sounds disrespectful. I'm using it as a means to trigger a conversation. I'm very tactical with my words. Everything is planned. And it's working. Look, the fact of the matter is that because I am rating him to that high level that you have just described, he's one of the few guys wrestling in any organization now. He's one of the very few that I know has got that Sean Taker match, has got that Angle Mysterio match. I know he's got that in his wheelhouse because he's that freaking good. I want to see it.
Yeah, I know.
To quote Big Tone, Father Time waits for no man. Yalla.
It's true. I tell you who, AEW better hurry up with 2.5-star Jay White, man. Like, they need to hurry up with that.
Bro, preach. No, you're so right.
He was not that in Japan. He was not that in Japan.
He wasn't. He was 4-star Jay White, man. But
I'm not going to talk. I'm not 4-star at best. Sorry, at worst. This isn't an AEW show. What the F was that Billy Gunn match? What are they? Who has he pissed off backstage? That was a squash.
Different convo for a different time.
Different convo. I completely agree with you. If you thought that was meant to be banter, I'm a Jay White guy. I co-sign that completely.
But okay, so just to close off night 1, it was.
Can I just say, sorry, because we're talking about that night 1 main event. This is how good Seth is. They put him in there to be able to mask The Rock. Because let's also be real. Father Time waits for no man. The Rock is quite injury prone. They needed to. The Rock, he was great. The Rock did great for what he needed to do in that match. Character, wrestling, what he had to do. 1 or 2 spots, he did great. Seth did such a good job of keeping attention away from The Rock's shortcomings. And again, just so beyond any shadow of a doubt, that was down to Seth's great work. Also, can I say, Roman Reigns, after looking like a backup dancer for the last few months, looked like $1 million standing in the ring next to Dwayne.
That entrance, man. The entrance of The Rock. That was a hell of an entrance, man. Like, that was probably the entrance of WrestleMania for me.
I'd say Drew, which moves us on nicely to night 2. Tangent, brother.
It was a nice nod of the hat to start off with Piper's music for Drew. That was something that warmed me. I was like, okay,
me too.
Cool.
Me too.
It was also very fun. You know what? When I heard Punk on commentary, I was like, maybe my prediction comes through. Maybe Drew pride will come before the fall. Maybe this is what will cost Drew.
No, just after.
Ultimately, it did cost him just at the wrong time. So it cost me a point. Thank you. But look, again, Seth, I really enjoyed this match. Like, it gave me the beats of it can go either way, and that's what I'm looking for from wrestling. Yes, the whole world believes Drew deserves it, and did he deserve it? Hell yeah! Like, I don't want anyone to look at my prediction and be like, "Oh, he's hated on Drew." I believe. I always enjoyed the Scottish psychopath. Face Drew had me a bit.
I loved it. I loved it.
it got a bit bland. I was very happy when he eliminated Brock from the Rumble, and then it just kind of teetered. He was just there. This version of Drew, where he has just shown, give me a mic and I will have you waiting to hear what I've got to say next. It has never, ever been more prevalent than now. And it's weird because where we've all heard what Seth thought of CM Punk prior to CM Punk's return, no one heard a damn thing from Drew. Drew has taken Seth's baton and run with it so far, it's unreal. You're like, whoa, oh, really? You hate him too? Oh my God. Wow, you really hate him. And it's gone from that. And you know what? The best bit is it could all be staged. It could all be staged. You good?
Big spider on the wall. Like, big one just ran across the wall.
But like, it could all be staged. But even if it isn't, either way, it doesn't matter. You've got me playing into everything that we know about Punk and just throwing it in his face. And I think it's absolute gold. But taking that away, just the dynamics of the three of those guys in and around the ring worked perfectly. And Seth just not being it 100% Seth, but still being man enough to tell Drew, you deserve it. Like
I love that.
They wanted the whole angle was we meant to have a heel Drew McIntyre, but he's so lovable at the moment you can't make him heel. It is the second coming, and it's not often we can say this. He is the second coming of Rock and Austin, where you come in as a heel,
Thank
even
you.
Eddie Guerrero, you come in as a heel, but it's actual real gravitational pull that says you love him and we're going to accept it. We're not forcing it down that he has to be a heel. No, he's a face. Just like Eddie was meant to be a heel, it became face just naturally. Austin, Drew's done it as well, and I love every second of it.
I agree with everything you've just said. This is, despite having 3-star Steph in it, this is in my
I gave you the Austin salute there, but go on.
This match, because of how good Seth and Drew were in it, this and a match we'll get to later, not the main event, were in my contention for match of the two nights. This was genius. This match made me sit back from start to end, despite some of the bad booking that we've previously discussed that happened on night one. This match made me sit back and realize, damn, Paul Levesque actually can book. Well played. Because what he did, playing the injuries that Seth picked up in that main event in night one, playing them into night two, having Seth break character at the end, because Seth is great, having Seth break character at the end, telling Drew you deserve this, having Drew's hubris cost him, having Punk involved somehow, having the moment Punk attacked him, I was like, okay, I know what's coming now. But that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Having the banter of Drew going on Twitter mid-match and going bored at work. I mean, banter FC. That man is a god. He is a Celtic god. The fact that it started in a way that I like the way they did a throwback to the Seth Brock match, where Seth basically stomped him right off the bat, and you thought, is he going to beat Brock right at the beginning? They did the reverse of that with Drew and Seth here. The flying Claymore at the beginning, I was like, no, that I wouldn't have called. And if they do that, it would have worked. And they didn't, and they played it out. Do you know what this did? This reminded me of the importance of the first match. Because in a stadium setting, you don't want, as much as I love players like Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., in a first match of a stadium setting, you don't want a grinded out mat play. You want something to lift the crowd. You don't want it to be long. You want something that's going to get people who are already ready to go popping even louder. 10 minutes of pure adrenaline, some interesting spots, some memorable moments. To this end, this match with Seth and Drew revived the concept and the importance of the first match in a stadium pay-per-view. Genius.
I fully enjoyed that match, man. I mean, like, if not for the main event, this would have been my match of the night. Yeah, because it was just so much fun. And again, having Punk there on commentary and like hitting his little barbs, that was a nice little touch. The masterful thing, they've done a masterful thing without this entire feud. on making it the animosity between all three of them seem real. Yeah, seem like they actually hate each other. Off the back of what happened, like I would argue that both Drew and CM Punk have the most meaningful feud in all of professional wrestling. They have the most real reason to hate each other. Yeah, one took the other out of WrestleMania, killed his WrestleMania dreams, and like made a T-shirt about it. Yeah, the other
didn't, but
lost his title at WrestleMania 5 minutes after he won it, and then cost him a rematch of Raw. These two have legit reason to hate each other right now. Yeah, and when they come on the mic, because like again, Paul has like just flipped the switch and said, "Listen, you guys can do what you want." Yo, it comes off so organic, so real. And again, Drew is doing the work of his career. Like, it's funny throughout all of his eras. This is probably the most over he's ever been, and he deserves it. I definitely think we're going to be seeing him with an actual title run this year. And like, it only makes sense.
Scotland.
It only makes sense. Yes, that's a good shout. Only makes sense for like, Punk and like Drew to be having a title match. Like, when they actually go against each other.
Just say, we've all seen the sign in the ECW arena. If Cena wins, we riot. I've seen what you've done in Cardiff, WWE. Do not
you can't do it
play
again.
that game in Scotland. Do not play that game in Scotland. It is not worth it. I will not. If you're doing it, Hunter, message me now because I'm not buying a ticket. I mean it now. I am not going to be in Scotland and see Drew McIntyre get screwed because there's not a plane that can get me out of there quick enough.
I don't care who Drew is facing that day. We're not chanting against Drew that day.
Yo, America.
No.
America, let me talk to you right now. All right. Angry Scotland, from where you're from, is the equivalent of Baltimore. Have you seen The Wire? Like, it's that.
Yeah, you can't. No. I'm fully thinking, Drew McIntyre on that night. I would not be so stupid. But here's a question. It's kind of interesting because Priest is our new champ. With those in contention for the belt, and who's lost it, who won it, and what have you, and who's potential new holders of it, do you still see it as a B belt? Because I said it before and I still maintain.
Yes.
Once it drops it, it gives it more legitimacy. And I believe with those in contention, you've got some strong runners in there. I don't think it's such a B belt right now. It doesn't help that Priest is holding it. I'll give it that. And I like Priest. But I think it's elevated.
Look, it's just the other show's belt now. Like, and it has been for a while in my eyes. Like, yes, it was created out of some absolute duckery. Yeah. On what do you call it, WWE's part, making a title because we can't beat Roman for his title. That was
Paul Levesque's booking. Can we please know that was Papa H's booking?
Yes, but you know what? Vinnie Mac was still around there, so you don't know. But like, forgetting all of that, now we just move on because we always move on anyway. Yeah, they brought back the original World Heavyweight title in a briefcase and made like Triple H just be handed it. So like, if we could get over that. Yeah, we could get over the
you got over that?
No, yeah, of course, man. Like, we went on to have like Batista. Yeah, we went on to have matches with Undertaker before that belt, man. Shawn Michaels become a champion again for the first time in years.
Batista at Mania was a match.
So
like, you're hitting the nail on the head here. To further legitimize that belt, and you've said it as well, AJ. To further legitimize this belt, it's not sufficient for Seth to just drop it. It needs to now have some serious players competing for it.
CM Punk's going to be champion this year. Like,
can I be honest?
Punk will help. Drew's winning it will help.
Champion with that belt.
That will help.
I don't want to be that guy, and it's a bit of a spoiler.
It's still the B belt for me, but it's not. I
don't want to be that guy, and it's obviously where everyone knows who's won anyway. Who's got more contenders? The B belt's looking more interesting now. Because if Roman's not looking for a rematch with Cody, who's next for Cody?
That's part of the story. But that I actually find, cut from a different cloth. Not knowing what's next for Cody is actually part of the interesting story. Where do they go now?
And again, like, many of the people will get split up. It'll be interesting to see which belt goes to which show.
You want some real duckery.
Are you gonna put
get Drew to beat Cody at Scotland?
Title, are you gonna put him on Raw, or are you gonna put like what's it, Damien and the Judgment Day on SmackDown? Yeah,
I think that's happening.
Damien alone, or maybe Damien alone. It's quite possible.
Oh, what? Split them up?
Oh, what if Cody drops the Drew in Scotland? Woo!
Oh, but that
I wouldn't cry.
Cody's instantly the heel. If you want to do a Cody heel turn, then do that.
Codyverse.
Right.
Just give it to me, please. Give me the Codyverse.
This one, I'm really not gonna waste any time on. It was nice to see Bubba Ray Dudley. Congratulations, Pride. If anyone else has got anything more to say, please say it quickly, because there was not much of it.
Snoop Dogg's commentary was awesome. I felt like I was watching an episode of Planet.
Yes,
killed me.
Yes, I'll give you that. I was going.
It was so funny when McAfee said to him, "But you've only had one gin and juice." Right? He went, "Nah." Snoop is so funny.
What I will say is what I said in it. Yeah, congratulations to all of them for making it on the WrestleMania card, landmark WrestleMania card at that.
Yeah, move on.
Okay. Do you know what? Now that you've got into this, I think
move on.
The Testament having their Mad Max look is something. The Pride need an identity. They need an identity. It's
they have. It's Pride.
Anyway, we've moved on.
The flying nothing is how you defeat the flying nothing over the turnbuckle is how you defeat the AOP. The booking of this match was god awful. Nothing happened to the AOP to make them lie down outside the ring. Like less than nothing.
Congratulations to all 6 people for being on the WrestleMania card. That's
we move on.
All 8. Because you know what, the ladies got featured as well.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
And Paul Ellering
was looking good.
Ellering for the first time in God knows how many years. He was there since WrestleMania 1, for God's sakes. And well done. Anyway, we move on. AJ Styles versus LA Knight. Yeah.
AJ can still go.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that. It's look, to me, this was the match that was obvious in its short in everything. It was the chance to steady the ship that was so far off course in LA Knight, just really being in places but not winning. Money in the Bank, all of these other moments, title matches with Roman, where everyone's like, is it his moment? And it's just like, nope, he's losing. Bring in AJ Styles, let AJ show he can do it. LA Knight won. You know, that I think that's all it was about, really. It's steadying the LA Knight ship. Does what it said on the tin, if you ask me.
Is that going to be Seth's role from here? Sorry, not Seth. Is that going to be AJ's role from here on out, do you think? To be that, much like Seth, that steady pair of hands that's going to put the guys on the up over?
It's been like that for years. Like, look at AJ. When someone comes in or comes up on the roster, they fight AJ Styles, man. If you need something for like to get someone over in a big way, or you want a match that you know is gonna have a level of quality to it, much like you would use Seth on Raw, you use AJ on SmackDown, and this is basically what they did here.
You want AEW use Danielson.
Yeah, do you know exactly. Like we basically want to keep in it the fire under LA Knight, because again, he's cooking. We're not ready for him yet because we've got so many people as contenders right about now. I still think a good pastime for him is going to be dethroning Logan of that US title. I feel that's a good person to do it. Yeah, if not him, Breaker.
SummerSlam, it's in Logan's hometown.
Hey, why not? Yeah. So, like, as in terms of where Knight goes from here, like, he might be on a different show. He might be on Raw.
Okay, I mean, the match was fine. It didn't set the world. It didn't.
No, it was fine. That's it.
It was fine. That's it. However, what followed, the next 3 matches, now that's how you end a freaking show.
Yeah, one thing I will say, just on your question of AJ Styles' future, something I heard about Matt Hardy recently when he's talking about where he's going next is, as much as I'm here to put people over, losing all the time doesn't help put me over, put the other talent over, because I'm seen as the loser ahead. Knight deserved this win, but that's the one thing I'm hoping that they do with AJ. Let him get a few victories under his belt so people know that if you beat AJ Styles, it actually means something.
It means something.
Do you like his new music?
Otherwise, he's Nakamura.
Do you like AJ's new music?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, I do. Talking Nakamura, what happened? I'm hoping Hunter corrects it because I knew it was going to happen. At least Finn has judgment there around him.
Raw?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, no, he's not correcting anything.
Right. Okay, here we go. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, US title.
I hate Logan Paul the person. I am in awe of Logan Paul the wrestler. He is so good in a stadium capacity at reading the room. This is clearly his YouTube fame, but reading the room, knowing exactly how to give a look, say the right thing, understand the psychology of what the crowd is feeling, and play off of that to get the best possible reaction so that you're in a position where you loathe the little toe rag boxer frogs, quote William Regal, that you want to see him lose, and yet his in-ring ability leaves you in a place where you're like, man, I can't help but admire you.
He has blown me away each time he steps in the ring. And like to quote the press conference, as Triple H says, it's mad he's this good and he's only done this a handful of times. It's nuts. Everything
less
you said,
than 10 matches. Less than 10 matches. Like, what the hell?
It's absolutely insane. Like he deserves every credit he's got, and I'm happy to still see him hold gold. However, before I close on this, I truly believe it's either Randy Orton's kids or Randy Orton truly hate I show speed or whatever that kid's I speed or whatever his name is. That kick was vicious. That was straight out of 300.
I loved everything about that kick. The moment that ISO don't know who you are, bro. The moment that guy showed his face, I thought he was an annoying little twat. It gave me flashbacks of the KSI FIFA years. I was like,
that's who he is. That's who he is. He's the new.
He's a beta KSI. I'm like, when Randy kicked him that hard, I was like, oh God, that one was for every person who was over 30. Jesus, that felt good.
But he is that for the kids. If you check his videos, there's one time he was playing FIFA and he legitimately cut the feed because he said he crapped his pants. He's got music videos. He's a huge Ronaldo fan. That's one thing I do know about him. But as you said, for everyone over 30, that was it. That was the
that was bliss. That was bliss. Seeing him get punted and then Randy mocking him back before the RKO. I was like, yes, please twat this little prick.
Yes, this match all in all was very fun, man. From the beginning with KO, like rolling out, with his little Austin vehicle, and then going back and getting Randy Orton. That's the first time I've ever seen someone carry their opponent to the ring. Like, that was fun.
You saw Randy say to him, slow down, bro.
Yeah, exactly. What I like about it is you can see on both their faces, like, they're having a lot of fun. And to be honest, like, out of all of the matches, if not for the main event, I would call this match the most fun of the night. Because, again, it had great back and forth action. Great, like, who's going to do it? Yeah, or more or less, how is Logan going to do it? Because, like, we all thought he was going to retain, because why pour, like, cold water over something so hot? Yeah. And again, Logan is doing so well. Yeah. And again, I hate to compare them, but it just makes me think of, damn, like, Jade is here, she had all that time in AEW, and like the skill level of someone between like her and then I look at Logan, who's done it a handful of times as well, but he's just appears to be at so much of a higher level.
Bodybuilder versus athlete, mate. Different gravy. Yeah. Completely different gravy. Natural athlete versus someone who lifts a lot of weight is different gravy.
That's actually that's what I was trying to get to, isn't it? Yeah. Is that like sometimes in life you just naturally have it. Yeah, and Logan seems to naturally have it.
AJ's met him, Mikey, my little cousin. Unreal natural athlete. Never trained a day in his freaking life. You give him any sport, 30 minutes doing it, and he's picked it up. I'm stronger than Mikey. I've done sports on a professional level, more dedicated than him. And I know if that little prick spent 1 week doing Muay Thai, he'd be better than me after 10 years of me doing it. Some people are just natural, bro. And Logan's got it. He's just got that. Although this match had one of my favorite spots of the weekend. That pop-up powerbomb into an RKO. Oh my god! Cool. Oh my god! Cool. Oh my god! I was like, now that's wrestling. That's what Double V's after. There's some verisimilitude for you. Oh my god!
One thing I do need from Logan, though, and it's him and his association with Grayson, and Ferry. Can we please actually have a proper stable name for them? Because they're just so good together. They're all holding gold. They deserve a stable name and their own music.
Well, they got A-Town Down Under, right?
I was going to say Prime A-Town Down Under.
But that's their tag team. I want a name for the stable.
We'll see. Is a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, much like the way that first match with Drew and Seth continued on something in part that was being told the night before and then continued on in turn with, Drew and CM Punk. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with Randy and KO here, because there's almost this weird, chaotic part of me that wants to see them in a tag team together. Because with the two guys on the current roster who probably turn more times than Brother Leon calls a heel turn, it would be intriguing just to be like, so these two are a tag team. Legitimately, who turns first?
Honestly, at this point, all I would ask them to do is for Tony Khan to release Paul White from his contract and let him manage them. Just have everyone wondering who's turning where. But yeah.
They could have so much fun with a Randy KO tag team run, even if they don't win gold, but just keep teasing you. And they could do it a week on, week off. Like, he's going to turn, no, he's going to turn, no, he's going to. They could have so much fun with that. I really hope either Triple H, well, someone in WWE listens to this podcast. They've stolen ideas from me before. That's a fact, and AJ will back me up on it. But, like, I really hope Triple H reads the room on that one, because they got something very cool there with KO and KO and RKO.
I'm praying for, and as much as you said it was fun to see, and it was kind of fun for seeing Randy and come out together. Can we please give Randy Orton a good, unique, memorable WrestleMania entrance, please? I don't feel like he's had it yet, and he deserves one. Randy deserves a memorable Mania entrance.
I mean, damn, Nakamura's had one at this point, hasn't he?
Yeah. Randy's most memorable one was a giant sperm hologram on the floor. Sorry, Snake.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was not
fact.
Good. It was not good. Right. Nick, I know you've been dying to talk about this one.
Oh.
Bayley versus Io Sky for the WWE.
This is Rob's my contender for match of Mania. And it breaks my freaking heart, because it just reminded the whole world. I mean, I've been saying it, Big Toe and I know would co-sign this. One of the best NXT women's champions ever, back then known as Io Shirai. For me, she was my favorite. I preferred her to Shayna. I preferred her to Asuka. I thought what Io did with the main title on NXT, GOAT level. I think she has been so mistreated as champion, so underbooked, which is crazy, because even when I take you to Backlash last year with that crazy crowd, that opening match, Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, we all knew Bianca was going to win. But what was so cool in that moment is the crowd, again, organically, because they love Io in Puerto Rico, the crowd started backing Io, and they did a kind of Rock Hogan role reversal. It's like, oh, okay, snap, let's think on the fly here. No, I'm heel, you face, just for this match. And that just took the shackles off of Io for one match. And it was like, yeah, you remember how good this girl is? Like, the Empress of the Sky is not just an empty tagline, June Part 2 epitaph. He really is that. And then it's just nothing. Yes, it was cool her winning Money in the Bank, and it was cool her doing the cash-in. But much like Rhea Ripley, where's the signature matches at for her title run? She's so goddamn good and so underused. And then this match, my God, was she allowed to shine? I'm sorry. My actual favorite spot, when Bayley tried to do the rose kiss, the rosebud, whatever her finish is called.
Rosebud, or whatever, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That kick out. I'm sorry. Kenny Omega looked at that and went, "Well done, girl. That's what it's about." Because, oh my God, that kick out that she did, that defied the laws of physics, what she did in that moment. And the whole match was kind of adjacent to that. It was just a showcase of how seamless she is, how good her in-ring work is, how good her footwork is, how well she understands her environment. That girl is a freaking ring general between the ropes. Yeah, does she lack a bit on the mic? Although I think when she's doing Japanese, she's pretty good. But she is a general between the ropes. And I worry that we're going to forget about Io Sky in 10, 20 years' time, because we're all going to be talking about Charlotte and Rhea and Bailey and Becky and Bianca. I really hope we all remember Io Sky. She is unreal.
Bailey got the moment that she deserved because she's the last
crap
of
entrance.
them to have Carry on.
Crap entrance. Awful entrance.
Awkward.
So awkward.
The guys were kind of. But what's happening now is the future is Damage Control, especially EO and Dakota.
I hope you're right. I don't see it, but I hope you're right.
Kyrie and Asuka are tag champs, but they're slightly more seasoned. You know, they came right after the 4 Horsewomen. In terms of building, here's the thing. I think Io, as much as her matches were few and far between, had better matches than Rhea in terms of title holders. She had the better matches. And this is the thing. And one of the things that we appreciate is, but take it from bro, it is what it is. But the other thing we have to appreciate is Bailey is currently helping a lot in the booking of the women's division. Now, provided everyone stays on SmackDown, I can see Bailey going through all of Damage Control. She'll beat all of them, but you will remember who Io is. You'll start to see more of Io. And essentially, what will also help is the face turn. When Io becomes face, she's now allowed to do the high-flying stuff that puts her forward. When you're a heel, you can't do the stuff that makes people pop. You can't.
Well, she made me pop. She made me pop all night too.
Well, this is it.
I was like, this girl.
She was allowed
I remember now.
She was allowed to because of who she was taking on. If you're taking on Bailey and the world is red hot on Bailey, you're allowed to do stuff that still have people talking because you still ultimately want and know Bailey's winning it. You know, it's the ultimate comeuppance. Give it a few. A year and a half. I see a face Io, and you will know who Io is once again.
I bloody hope you're right. It makes me sad that for the second time they're kind of bastardizing the Kabuki Warriors again.
No, man, look, at the end of the day, like, they were the tag champions at WrestleMania, man. Like, look, there's levels of, like, just, you know, grading on the curve or whatever. Yeah, I feel if you were a champion at WrestleMania 40, you done did the business, man. Like, it doesn't matter in what regard. And like,
not if I'm in a Scotch match against Voodoo Magic.
Sorry, it's fine. It's fine, man. Like, it's better than anyone who wasn't undercard. It's better than anyone who wasn't a champion. Yeah, like, they are champions, and I feel that's a good thing. Now, as far as this match goes, I actually like it. Like, I feel the Damage Control storyline has actually, or through it had to take a backseat to bigger storylines. It's played out well. It started at a point.
It's been
great. Consistent weekly on SmackDown, and it came all the way to the point of where it's ended now. I'm really don't see Damage Control going too much further now because they've lost the main title. They're about to have those tag titles like stripped of them by somebody. Like, I'm sorry, that's just gonna happen. So we'll see where they all go from there. I think face Io is a good shout. Yeah, I feel like she's one of those people that may not be remembered on the same level, unfortunately, as a Charlotte, as a Bailey, as a Rhea, but she will be on that tier, maybe just a lot below with, say, like Liv and like people like that. Yeah,
which so much better than Liv.
Yeah, it's true, but it's not the worst thing. I mean, like, you can look through the industry and ask how many women have been in, you know, a title match at WrestleMania as champion, let alone a landmark one. Io's done it, and you can never take that away from her. And like that was an excellent spot. It might have been the spot of the entire weekend. That
Oh, it was.
flip out
It
of,
absolutely was. It was gravity defying.
That flip out of Bailey's finisher. That's memorable. Yeah. So
unreal.
he's doing the business. I feel sometimes we need to stop looking at, oh, I wish this person was a little better, or as if I wish they was in a better spot, or this was done better. And just let's take away the good stuff that's happened. And the fact that Io Sky from the Io Shirai has been there at this higher level on the WrestleMania card, that will remain in my memory forever.
You are a cheese monkey, aren't you?
Because the same way the four horsewomen were just getting rid of the Bellas and what have you, there will come a point where she's the hand that, not necessarily Tiffany Stratton, but a few of these NXT names that are out there now, Roxanne Perez and the rest, need to overcome someone. And it's not Bayley, it's not Charlotte, it's Io Sky, it's Dakota Kai. These are the ones that are there, you know? That's the way I see it. I say give it time.
Just had a several month title reign like that. Sometimes I got to ask, what more do you want?
Get the hell out my face with that.
Not everyone is going to be where we want them to be at the same time.
That's fine, but don't you dare use that she had a long title reign argument.
I don't think it's been bad. Yeah.
Do I think
she could have got a bit more of a shine? Sure, but a lot of people can. Yeah. But she's had a much more better year than most. To be honest, her year has probably been better than any of Asuka's. Yeah, and like that's
her year relative to her in-ring ability. That's my beef.
But but there's so many factors to that you've got the Vince factor, you've got the other overshadowing storylines. But Damage Control.
I know this. I'm just pointing it out. I'm not saying what the reasons are. I'm just saying it's there.
Women on the build, but it still needs a lot of attention. It's just factual.
It really does.
It is.
I think the storyline is executed to perfection, personally. But
so do I. The storyline was great.
The storyline was good. It's just how much TV.
What do you think I'm reproaching at the moment? I agree with everything you're saying.
No, I'm just saying that, like, again, yes, we look at certain people, we want a bit more for them, but we also got to look at what they had, and it's been good. For Io, I don't think she will complain at all.
I would keep Io and Rhea on different programs, and I would build the women's division on each program around them. Io is someone who I would build the division around. I think she's that damn good.
Io's got a lot of good matches waiting for her, yeah, on both sides of the
God, doesn't she? Doesn't she just... Io Charlotte at that NXT, of Io Charlotte and Rhea, actually. God damn, that was a good match. That's the level Io's on.
One day we're gonna get what's it, Julia versus Io, maybe what? So that's something to look forward to. Gideon, sorry. Keep her Julia.
Oh, sorry, no, it is Julia. You're quite right. Sorry, I was thinking Julia Hart for some reason. No. Freaking Japan, Italy, Julia. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now we get to the culmination of the stories. The end of the Tribal Chief reign. The stronghold comes to an end. Bloodline rules. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes versus the Tribal Chief. I can't really call him. Well, it's still head of the table, I suppose. Roman Reigns. Now, the first thing that came to my head, Nick, was you, because I watched this match and I thought, Cody's picked up the pace on Roman. Like, it wasn't a slow Roman match, this one. It wasn't. Pace was definitely picked up, and it more for it. And it just shows that Roman has a way of telling a story which works, but he can do it in another way. That's what I liked. It wasn't like a struggle. Like he wasn't blown up by picking up the pace. Like he could do it, you know. Tone, I also like. I know a lot of people called it, but you were the one who kept referring to it within our pod. Endgame, and yeah, that was the thing. It was.
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, most of us did. It was just a
matter of not that. The comparison to Endgame. Oh, they want the internet talking about that. Fine, carry on.
What else can you compare it to? It was a case of.
You know what I compare it to? Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spot fest.
Lots of good spots in it. Some questionable story decisions along the way. but a good nostalgic beat. Just like Spider-Man No Way Home, where you can almost forgive the shortcomings of the story because you're having such fun with the nostalgia. And the story was damn good.
Like, it feels like you go searching for like the negative Nancy figure, like just to be edgy, man. Look, enjoy the ride for once, damn it. This
what
was
did I say?
Hell of a main event.
Stop. Repeat my words back to me. What did I say? What did I say?
So much fun.
Did I have fun with this match? Yes or no?
Yeah, but again, you don't have to be like, oh, the whole time.
You also don't have to suck the dick that feeds you and not question anything. It was
a great match, and look, if you had fun with it, yeah, and like you really enjoyed with it, then you won. Everyone won. Like, considering the crap fest that they gave us last year, that sent you home literally like, what the hell? Yeah, made you hate WWE for a year. Like, they made it up to you, yeah, last night. Yeah, like they delivered. Yeah. Well, it's a personal thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me, man, this was one of the most fun main events I've seen. I'm trying to actually think back to a WrestleMania main event in the last.
I'd actually go as far as
the last 20 years
to say. Well, I'd go as far as to say
like,
that
as good.
I'd actually go as far as to say this is the best ending to a Mania I think I can remember seeing.
Whatever.
It's the most.
So yeah.
It's the most
not in terms of the best Mania match, but in terms of an actual ending to a Mania. Because think of the great Mania moments, your Rock Hogan's. Those weren't the main matches. They were the showpiece matches, but they weren't the actual ending, roll credits. To my memory, there's probably one or two obvious ones I'm forgetting for my sins. I wasn't a Daniel Bryan guy, remember?
All right, that's a good one. I actually forgot. Yeah, that did have.
But this is, if it's not the one, it's up there with one of the best Mania endings ever.
I know he's not to be mentioned, but the iconic Benoit Guerrero one.
Yeah, that is a hell of an ending. Yeah. Hell of an ending.
Yeah, I would go as far as saying 40 was better than that one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. In terms of like,
it's hard. It's very hard for me to evaluate based on that.
A true feel-good moment, yeah.
WrestleMania
40 was it, and the match again, like it was great. I do feel it could have been a bit more chaotic, in fact, in terms of who they brought out there, because again, there's the stuff the Bloodline have been doing.
Careful, don't be negative, Big Tone.
Yeah, listen, the stuff the Bloodline have been doing there all throughout, like their time. Yeah, throughout this entire reign. Some of it has actually been a lot more worse than they did on Sunday night. They all come out one at a time, and then someone counted them, which was a lot of fun. The MVP
all came out one at a time, just like Spider-Man No Way Home.
You've got to like hold your hands up for there is poor Seth Rollins, man. Like, not only did he lose his title earlier in the night, he come out, man, just to get his ass whooped.
Yeah, not a move. Not
even have a moment on site.
Yeah, those villains showed up one by one, just like in Spider-Man No Way Home.
But then, like what you got to think though is this is already good storytelling, because we're setting up, I reckon, an eventual heel turn for Seth off the back of what happened at WrestleMania 40. He had a terrible weekend, and a lot of it was getting Cody Rhodes back. For Cody Rhodes to have this ultimate moment, this ultimate rise, why he had this ultimate fall, it's a great story that you can go back to at any point they choose to.
You can dip your foot in that pool. I don't know if that's what they're going to do because of what they did between Cody and Seth at the end, but they could. That's a good shout.
They can go on many different roles, like many different roads, no pun intended.
Listen, I was watching this alone, not live. Obviously, I stayed the hell off the internet because I didn't like my YouTube notifications off, WhatsApp off, Instagram off. I went cold because I didn't want to watch this live. I wasn't with you guys, and unfortunately 2-year-old daughter means that daddy wakes up at 5 or 6 a.m. So I was like, there's no way I can do a full night of Mania and not sleep. So I watched this during the day and just had to stay off the grid, so to speak. Man, watching this match alone in my living room downstairs, geez, I popped hard at some points. Like, just like I did in Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's why I was like, hey, easy on the whole calling out the negativity, because there's problems in that movie. but God, it's a barrel of fun. Just like this, there were some storytelling threads that I was like, ooh, that's a bit ropey, but the good so outweighed the bad here. There's that little part of me that was like, instead of Taker, God, I wish they could have got Austin, because I was like,
honestly, I think that's
Rock's
what was meant to happen.
long-term rival, The Undertaker.
I think that must have. I think that's probably what was meant to happen, and we're probably going to find out in the documentary down the line. That's what they had planned, but Austin couldn't get there for whatever reason, because it didn't make sense. It was great that it was him. Yeah,
I popped for the gong. I popped hard.
Honestly, it would have made more sense if Triple H pedigreed The Rock, did it? Yeah, but again, the gong.
Nice shout.
If you would have seen the man's reaction, who was sitting next to me when that gong. It was just that in awe.
I thought of AJ. I thought of AJ actually, not Leon, when I heard that gong, because it brings me back to, funnily enough, words you said to me outside when we'd seen Spider-Man No Way Home. This is ironic. It's going full circle. And you went, and we were discussing about Rock showing up at Mania 40 instead of Mania 39, and would I be pissed?
Which hurts.
Oh, I know. That's why I thought of you, because I know that one of your biggest regrets is never having seen The Undertaker perform live. The moment that gong hit, I popped, and instantly I thought of you. I was like, oh, man could have had that one moment to see him.
If we had, listen, hindsight's 2020.
Of course.
If we had stuck to the rule, Rock will do a big number, not a small one, with respect to 39. What we would have seen over this past weekend would have been everything I needed. I would have got everybody I needed in one set. But where we're at, and it is what it is. Hopefully, Drew McIntyre starts talking crap about The Undertaker when he turns up at Clash. But that's a different story for a different time. But
I'll tell you this: there's one interesting point that I think happened with bringing all these old guys in, which worried me. I was like, it's cool seeing this nostalgic spot first. I'm loving it. There's this little niggling feeling in the back of my mind going, yeah, but it's Cody's story. I'm loving all this, but the point I'm making is what they did that was so clever is that despite all of the nostalgic beats, it didn't actually help Cody in any way, because it was kind of just freaking. It was Iron Man and Doc Ock fighting each other, but Spider-Man and What's-His-Face was still very much at the center of it, you know? And it detracted from Roman Cody, but it never influenced Roman Cody. And what was interesting is that what actually distracted Roman was Roman's own arrogance. It was Roman doing that chair shot on Seth. It wasn't one of the legends coming in to help Cody.
No, it was like, no matter what he does, he can't unsee that Shield betrayal.
Yeah, that's what was genius about it. It wasn't one of the old school nostalgia. It wasn't like Taker coming to chokeslam Roman or Cena giving him an attitude adjustment for SummerSlam a few years ago. No, Roman had that chair in his hand. Cody was dead to rights. Cody was done, bro. If he buries that hubris of his and cracks Cody, he's done. Cody is done at that point. Couldn't let the damn Shield thing go. And I was like, that is genius.
In a way, the poetic justice of Taker being the one to turn up as opposed to Stone Cold. Roman ultimately was one of the last guys to beat him at Mania. So there's a relevance.
I felt that beat too, but the way they positioned Taker
what I feel
against Rock, I was like, ugh.
What I feel was missing is Sammy, KO, especially because they came out after. To me, it's like these guys who've all been wronged should have been the ones. That should have been
Randy.
Randy got taken out so badly. That's where I was a bit like, okay,
I feel they could have done. It's just throw more of the kitchen sink at Cody, because again, I would have liked to see some of the bloodlines like allies, have Grayson and Waller out there trying to kiss ass again or something.
That's the point where it would have become Endgame. If they'd done KO and Sammy and Randy and Grayson, and if they'd gone old school and new school with all the modern guys who the bloodline have wronged, that's the point you get into Endgame territory.
And that's what I thought we was going to see, but it's not I was disappointed because, again,
I like Spider-Man No Way Home too.
I don't think it needed any of that, like, to be as good as it was, and it paid off. It gave us the delivery we wanted to. Cody finally finished that damn story.
But picture it, going back to it, you could have done it in a way that even if you're not Bloodline affiliated, you could have done it through feuds. So having Sammy run out because he has a feud with the Bloodline is one thing. But after that Haluva kick that happens, Imperium come out because you know what? We have beef with the guy who's just taken the title. And that allows KO to come out with Randy, who seems to be his new best friend. But that still ties into your Bloodline feud. Like, that's how it would have.
And you have your end game. Everyone is on screen and fighting. And then
when they came out at the end, it's like, yes, we've dethroned Roman, but it's still felt. And I think Roman taking a few more finishes from absolutely everyone would have helped. Because, 3 Crossroads is good. But let's be honest, he's kicked out of these shit. You know, he's done some dastardly bits. So had it been a Crossroads, an RKO, an Uso splash, and this, and then Cody.
See, I thought that. I'm conflicted about that because on the one side, I get it. Yeah, that's. I was so conflicted about that to the degree where I would have actually been equally happy and equally unsatisfied if they had gone either way, because it's like you go down that route, you do all the finishes, and it's like, that's 3 years of Bloodline BS coming to bite you. But then there's that feeling of
Cody couldn't do it alone.
So you couldn't do it alone, Cody. But then when you do it just Cody, then you miss out on the Bloodline BS history.
Roman 3 years has been that. Cody took a spike. Cody's taken this, so it's kind of like it's literally turnabout is fair play.
Yeah, but it's a babyface thing. You can't be saying the babyface can't finish the story after the whole thing has been, I need to finish the story.
Even if he kicks out and then Cody still takes him out with the 3 cuts, Crossroads. So it's still Cody who's done it, but he had to endure those as punishment.
For instance.
Because you could do it. He could take all of those. It just takes one dive from Jimmy to save him. And then he gets up. And then they slog it out for 2 more seconds. Bang. 3 Crossroads. He's out.
So this is the thing. I actually thought ending it with the 3 Crossroads, not bad. But I was just like, a little bit more. I'll go so far as to say this. Despite the fact that I popped harder, I got more enjoyment out of this match. From an in-ring perspective, which y'all know is important to me, I actually thought the match they were putting on last year was better. From a purely in-ring perspective, in terms of what they were doing with the slow psychology, with the 2.99 kickouts, not the ending, that was ducked, as you say, Big Tone. It was flubbed of the highest degree. But that it was a good 35 minutes what they did last year, maybe more. And I was like, if they'd kept on going a long bit more, they were really building quite a classic match. Like watching that live last year, not just because of being there in the atmosphere, what they were doing in ring, I thought last year was really underrated. This year was just like Spotfest City, which is great.
2 things. 1, you can't be rinse and repeat. 2, the whole Bloodline rules means it had to be a bit more, less wrestling, a bit more.
Bro, I'm not saying they could have emulated what they did last year. I'm just noting that from an in-ring style, I preferred what they did last year. Which no one's, because you put that online, people will be like, "What? You preferred?" No, listen to the words. In-ring wrestling last year was better than this year. It's just the nature of the beast. This year was way more fun. Still think Cody should have won at 39.
No.
You know what? No, definitely. But like the match itself, though, the match, I feel had a bit of both of what you're saying. Like, obviously, I feel it was 2 parts, 2 distinctive parts of that match. The first was a lot like WrestleMania 39, and then they like got to a point where it's time to crank it up, and now it's time for the craziness to happen. I feel ultimately it is good that they ended the match the way they did, with Cody beating him, because someone needed to beat Roman, and not just like have Roman be the victim like of his own BS. Actually beat Roman. And exactly. They did that. So now Roman can go away for a while, have his rest. He actually does deserve it. Yeah. And now
Cody. He's been rested, but we won't go there.
Exactly. He's had a year off, this guy.
Yeah, but let's not remember my man is fighting leukemia as well. So,
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Look, are we talking kayfabe or are we talking reality? Let's not
Look,
blur
I'm
the lines
talking
too much.
I'm talking Joe Hawaii, like, could go and just chill. Yeah, because Cody's got this now. Now, for me, it really is interesting.
Sorry.
Huh?
Show Hawaii. That was funny.
Yeah, like, yeah, he's free, bro. Now, for now, it's nice to see where Cody goes from here. Yeah, because again, Cody has a lot of feuds lined up for him. And hey, things are looking on the up for everyone.
Cody, I'm interested to see if they can finally crack the code of booking a babyface long term. And I'm not saying they will or they won't. I genuinely don't know. Triple H showed me on Mania Night 2 that he is capable of doing booking with intelligence. But I'm so curious to see what their long-term plans are for Cody. I'm hoping they have them. Obviously, history has shown me that it's not always a safe company to rely on for long-term stories with baby faces. I'd really love to see if they can crack the code and not have to revert to type of, oh, okay, the crowd had turned on him, make him heel.
Nah,
I'd welcome a heel Cody. I'd welcome a heel Cody, although I question if they can book Codyverse properly. I would equally welcome the second coming of John Cena. But remember, the crowd turned on John too. So can they crack the code? That's, I guess, the question I've got in my mind. And I'm here for the ride. I'm curious to see what they're going to do. I am here for the ride.
I don't want Codyverse. I want corporate Cody. I want the guy who is literally Homelander, right? Give me corporate Cody, aka Roadlander. He comes out, he's hugging and kissing babies, and he is literally there saying, as Triple H has always said, this is best for business. And the fans are just peed at it. Like, why is this coming out? And he's just winning. He's just winning. And it's like, but this is what the company needs. I am the example. Why do you choose to boo me? And every week he's just doing that because that's who Cody is. Come again?
Yeah, it's great.
I would like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, politician Cody would be great. But the problem still, can they crack the code of the face, though?
Here's the problem with booking the face, right? We are
chase.
not in the era, but it's not even a chase. We are not in the era of the kayfabe villain, right? You need someone either very much powered by corporation, and that's what gives him a unsurmountable level of challenge, or you need the villains in the vein of a Ric Flair, which is so. But, you know, the indomitable forces of a New World Order. Someone like a Sergeant Slaughter who's against the US. Someone like the $1 Million Man who's the very personification of, you know, corporate greed and everything. Without those, there's nothing there. Oh, I'm Gunther. Gunther is the only thing that stands in his way as that because he is Ivan Drago. That's who Gunther is, right? Irrelevant of country, that's who Gunther is. Damian Priest or anyone from the Judgment Day is generic heel. And I say that with respect. I love the Judgment Day. But it's generic heel. And until you can get
Priest
past...
needs to be a face again.
Until you can get past generic heel, you can't crack the code of generic face. Because you need that real unsurmountable challenge. The same way it was the climb to get there, you now need something to overcome and stand out there. So whether it's 20 men beating the crap out of you, like
turn Randy and do a legacy feud.
Yeah, that's gotta happen.
It will happen. It will happen, but that happens, and you
turn Punk. Turn Punk and do a other promotion.
Here's the thing: you don't have to turn Punk because that feud is going to happen regardless, and the fans will pick who they pick. Yeah, because that's the whole thing
pick
about
Punk.
Punk.
They'll pick Punk.
That's the whole thing about Punk, innit? Punk is not a person who needs to be a bad guy to do bad guy things, as evident on WrestleMania Sunday. You would have stood them.
Natural twat, isn't he?
100%. And like he leans into it, and again he'll lean into it again when fighting Cody. Hell, at Royal Rumble when it was him versus Cody, he was leaning into it. So anytime that they want to, like, you know, just up the ante for Cody, insert Punk.
Insert Punk. Insert Randy.
Insert Drew.
Insert The Rock.
Well, The Rock in it, yeah, and him had. What did you think of that exchange on Raw? A bit awkward, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, the crowd seemed to agree with that. It was weird. until the ending, which obviously, you know, a la old school, made me want to tune in next week to find out what the hell did he hand you, bro?
Yeah,
and that's
that's
you know,
interesting.
they've planted the seed well at the end there. Well done to them for that MacGuffin of, you know, they've put me on the island with the crew from Lost, haven't they? It's like, why are there polar bears on a tropical island? They've literally done that. Like, I need to tune in next week to find out what's happening. But the whole, can The Rock hold that title? I'm like, Dwayne, do you want to hold his left testicle while you're at it? Shine it up real nice. What are you doing, man? Like, this is really awkward.
That as long as I can hold your title, okay.
It was like, what are we doing? Are we cupping each other here? Like, it's weird, guys. Like,
man? You're watching the episode of Snoopy or something like that.
Yeah. It was really weird, and I didn't. Again, I'll let it play out, but I didn't quite see what the point of that beat was.
It's a semi-face turn, isn't it? It's like, we've done what we had to do. The better man won. I'm showing you that I can be respectful. I'm teasing that
you don't need to suck his dick, though.
You have to be so crass. But
I forgot we were still recording, to be fair. My bad. I thought we'd hit stop. I don't know why.
All of the pauses.
You know what I'm saying? But like, this is the thing. It's just teasing that I'm still heel. You don't know. All of these stuff are like hinting, like, what is he gonna do with the belt? What is he gonna say? What is he gonna do? It's just tethering. It's weird. It was awkward as hell, but it tethers on like which way is he going?
I'll say this: considering he's now going to film the live-action Moana and voice Moana Part 2, if he comes back as a heel after filming 2 kids' movies back to back, banter. Oh, I'd be there for that.
Do you know what? That's what he's probably given. I go back to that comment I read. He's probably given Cody the heart of Tafiti, and Cody Rhodes is now going to be a Moana 2. There it is. That was your cash-in, kid. You've made it to Hollywood.
Look, The Rock, again, is such a personality that even when we boo him, we just boo him out of banter, innit? Because he's so loved. When he turned around and just said that trailer park trash, they broke the record for all-time attendance. The crowd popped probably the most of the night for that. Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah. So anytime The Rock comes back, it doesn't matter. Heel or face is getting jailed.
I'll say this: when he first came back, he did feel a bit like a man out of time for me. I was like, bro, your shtick. That I thought Cody nailed him when he said, "What am I meant to do with the nuggets?" I was like, brilliant. Call him out on his archaic, has-been shtick from a bygone era that just does not fly anymore. And then The Rock decided to level up. And I was like, oh, this is why you're great, isn't it? I'm sorry. I remember now. Yes, no mess.
When he first joined the Bloodline and he grabbed the mic, he couldn't even say, if you smell correctly. I don't know what happened that week. But the week after that, he went right back into The Rock. And yeah, the first time was Dwayne playing The Rock. The week after, The Rock came back. It's a weird thing to say, but it's a very true statement.
He stopped acting and just was.
Yeah.
I think, you know, The Rock is my favorite wrestler of all time, but I have to face facts, man. The Rock is much more better played when he's an asshole.
Oh, completely.
And it's always been that way. Like even from his run in 99, 2000, when he was like a mega baby face, he was still, you know, a big asshole. So The Rock is at his best when he's not kissing babies or trying to be nice and stuff. It comes off as fake, innit? Yeah, it's the same reason why Cena started getting booed and stuff, innit? Because people don't want to see that. They want to see people with edge. Yeah,
he's in my favorite. He's in my favorite match of all time for a reason.
This is where it works for Cody, because when you take Roman was a monster that should have been booked as such, and it didn't work because they tried to make him sucker and suck attack. You just treat him as a monster. You've got the head of the table. Cena failed because Cena was the doctor of thugonomics. We understood he'd done the Marine shtick because he'd done the film The Marine, but then he never went back to what took him to the table. Cody, The Rock, face or heel, was what he had to do. Cody has come in as white meat. Just keep it as that. and it could work. It's when you try to change the angle because you want them to be cheered for. It's never worked. It could work with Cody.
So here's going full circle. Can they crack the code? Maybe.
No, I think you know what's helped Cody is, again, he comes off as very genuine in his face persona. Yeah. And like, again, he's dressing, he looks like the American Dream. He's got like the blood dyed hair. He's got like the suits, he looks sharp and everything. And again, when he takes out a child to like do his little stance in it, do a war with him, it seems genuine. It doesn't seem like it was forced.
He just needs to reel in the tears. He needs to reel in the tears a little bit. That's the only thing. I 100%
agree with that. Yeah, crybaby.
Where he went wrong in AEW, he went too heavy with the tears, and the 3-star Cody needs to cry to get a promo over. That was the ongoing.
He's an emotional man. What can we do?
Yeah.
No.
Listen, I don't think he fakes it. I don't want to push the time.
No, he's not faking it. He's not.
He does sometimes.
He's genuinely him.
No, it's not, AJ. There are times when I talk about my dad, okay? No, bullshit. Again, sorry with the swearing. I keep on thinking off air. I'm sorry. There are times when he's...
you can't be an organic face because you're a putty mouth.
Mm-hmm.
No, Nico is definitely a natural heel, man. There's
Me?
There's no question about that.
Me?
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Man.
Hell yeah.
You know.
Hell yeah. I have the most fun. The fact that I could trigger a guy so badly that he was like, "I've been a champ." Like,
keep it PG.
Love.
PG.
Champ is PG. I just wouldn't know anything about it because I've never been one. Oh.
It's all right. There's always this year. Well, not really, because I'm going back to back. But
oh, Dem's fighting words.
Oh, mate. Look, guys. Tune in to see what happens. In a couple of weeks, we'll be doing AEW. We'll be kicking it off with AEW, and we'll see who gets the first set of points. But it is what it is. Oh, congratulations on the title. Congratulations on the bonus. And congratulations on the failure rant. Hey, 2 is not a winner. Anyway, we digress. Guys, please.
Welcome to my world, the world of 2.
I'm real. Guys, please do comment below. What was your high points of WrestleMania? What were your low points of WrestleMania? Can Cody be a natural face for the long term? Who's up next for Cody? Who's next to take the B belt or former B belt? Is it still a B belt to you? Is there any hope for the Pride? It doesn't matter what you want to comment on below. There are 2 nights of WrestleMania. Comment as much as you want. Be sure to spread the like. Put the shares out there. Let us know the M.O.W season 4 is just done. Bring on season 5.
Season 2.
Let's have some fun. Don't do that because there's enough news out there for it to be 5. It doesn't matter which way you're looking at titles. There's enough content out there. And that's the
I mean, folks, tell me when I'm telling lies.
You're telling a lie, folks, man.
Anyway.
Is there hope for the Pride? No, they should do what AJ says and just come now before the ball just fall off the face of a cliff and stop. Please.
That's the one. And guys, look out for our weekly top 5s, which are taking place. And sometime next week, there will be the return of the Ministry Awards. Yes, the Ministry Awards will be out next week. So do check out.
Wicked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all provided. Anyway, I will say it off here. Oh, until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
Double V had a great Mania. Y'all can't be saying I still hate WWE now. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And your new reigning, defended, undisputed Ministry of Wrestling champion, Big Tone out the zone.
I was going to be such a prat and just press end broadcast, but no, I let you get your words. All right, guys. See you on the next show. We out.